back to my channel. In today's video, I will be introducing y'all to my new series that is 7 days and 7 microorganisms. That is starting from today. Each day I'm going to introduce you with one microorganisms each day and also talk about it quite briefly. As today is our day 1, I'm going to start with our first microorganisms, that is Escherichia coli, which is also known as E. coli. So now what is E. coli? E. coli is a type of bacteria which naturally lives in the intestines of the human body. Okay, so now E. coli lives in the intestines of the human body. Now where else does it live? It also lives in the guts of some animals. Now I told you that E. coli is a type of bacteria. So now you must be thinking, okay, if E. coli is a bacteria and if it's living inside of us in our intestines, it might then start an infection or make us sick. But let me tell you, like, most strains of E. coli are in fact very harmless. What it does is it keeps your digestive tract quite healthy, right? And it's only helping you. It's not causing you any, it's not making you sick or anything. Like, most of the E. coli don't make you sick because they are harmless and they just do their functions of digesting your food, because certain bacteria are meant to do that in your body. Okay, and thus you always find these kind of bacteria in your intestine. Okay, now why certain E. coli cause an infection, or why does it make you sick? Okay, because each bacteria or any microorganism that is present in your body which is helping you, okay, you have various strains of that microorganisms. Like, for an example, let me talk about the recent coronavirus. Okay, so the coronavirus that came into our country, okay, in and around March, or like around February, March, okay, that strain of corona was causing an infection, and till now it was, that strain was only the one in India that was or in the world that was causing a certain kind of infection, like showing certain symptoms. Okay, now lately in the end of December, we found out that a new strain of coronavirus was found in UK which was giving out different symptoms. Okay, and which was infecting people in different ways. Okay, and people were starting to show symptoms which were quite different from the first coronavirus. Correct. In the same way, E. coli bacteria, some strains are very, very helpful for your body, whereas some strains may cause diarrhea. That is when you consume contaminated food and water that is fouled. Okay, and when you intake that kind of contaminated food and water, that strain of E. coli enters your body and then you start showing symptoms of diarrhea. Okay, now let me tell you, when people have contaminated food, your stomach starts aching. Okay, you have stomach pain and you start having diarrhea. Okay, and then in your mind, okay, I've got food poisoning. Okay, so that is when most people associate food poisoning and E. coli together. And that is true because you have consumed a strain through the contaminated food and water. Along with food poisoning, the other infection that E. coli can cause you is urinary tract infections. It is said that around 75 to 95% of urinary tract infections are caused by E. coli. Now, that question must be arising in your mind. I told you that E. coli lives in your intestine, and how is it now causing you a urinary tract infection, correct? And how is it reaching your urinary tract when it's in your intestine? Okay, So we have to understand that E. coli is also a permanent resident of your bowel. Okay, and which is why it enters into the root of your urinary tract and thus starts an infection. Some versions of E. coli also make certain toxin which is known as Shiga. Okay, and what does this toxin do is it enters into your system, it produces a toxin and it destroys the lining of your intestine. Okay, and now what is this strain of your of this E. coli, this kind of E. coli that produces toxin known as, okay, this E. coli or the strain of E. coli is known as a STEC, okay, which stands for Shiga toxin producing E. coli. Okay, so this kind of strain of E. coli, it destroys the lining of your intestine by how? Producing a toxin known as Shiga, and that which hinders the digestive system. Okay, and therefore you start having diarrhea. Okay, and let me tell you, like I've told you, contaminated food, contaminated water, toxin producing E. coli. How do you get infected with all such kind of things? Okay, how do you consume contaminated food, contaminated water? Okay, or how this toxin producing E. coli enters into your system? There is a route or there is a way of these bacteria entering into your body which you need to know, and the next question is, how do we get infected? So there are many ways of getting infected. First being grounded meat. Okay, for all those non-vegetarians out there, if you eat meat, you must understand that these bacteria are inside you, they are inside of various animals as well, and when you want to consume certain meats, you need to be quite careful, you need to wash it thoroughly, you need to just use it separate or keep the utensils that you're using for chopping or for cooking this kind of food or this kind of meat should be quite different from your regular cooking utensils, so that you don't transfer those bacteria into your normal food. Okay, so what you also want to do is you also want to boil the meat quite thoroughly so that you destroy all the unwanted bacteria out there which which would enter into your body and make you sick. Okay, the second thing is drinking raw milk, that is untreated milk. Okay, what I mean by untreated milk is that unpasteurized milk. Now whatever milk you get in your in your shops, those packet milks, those Amul milk, Govardhan milk or whatever brand you name it, those all milk packets are pasteurized milk. That is, they undergo treatment to remove all the unwanted bacteria or the bacteria which are harmful for your system. Okay, that is, it is pasteurized milk. Okay, and when you do not use pasteurized milk, you just use raw milk which is not treated at all, you are facilitating those bacteria into your system, and then you start getting, the bacteria starts incubating in your system and then starts showing you your symptoms. So first things first is you have to be careful, you have to cook your grounded meat well, keep it separate from your normal food, have pasteurized milk. Third is fruits and vegetables. Okay, tell me, can you see in which water your fruits and your vegetables are grown in? No, right? You just go to the market, get whatever you want and come. You don't know exactly from where are they getting the fruits and vegetables and how are they growing it, in what condition is it growing, is the water clean or not, right? So you have to be quite conscious of that too, that not all water condition or growing condition of vegetable is going to be the best. So what you need to do is you need to wash your vegetable quite thoroughly. You need to cook your vegetables well. Okay, you need to cook your vegetables so that you, again the same thing, you destroy the unwanted bacteria that your vegetable has gotten in from that water it has been growing in, correct? And for fruits itself, you can wash your fruits thoroughly, you can remove the skin of your fruits and then consume it. Any of which ways, you know, the fruits are sprayed with lots of chemicals, so it's best for you to just remove the skin and consume your fruits and vegetables. The next thing is contaminated water. You need to be very aware of what kind of water you are drinking, from where you're drinking it. I suggest you do not need to drink any water like अरे मैं उधर जा रही हूँ तो I will go and have that water, whatever is available. No, that should not be the need to carry a bottle of water wherever you are traveling, so that in any emergency you can just have your home water and which will not make you sick. And the next and final things is animals and pets. I know we all love animals, we all love dogs, we all love cats. That is fine, love is love, but what you need to do is you also need to be aware that these animals or these pets also carry these bacteria on the surfaces. So after when you go and pet your animals or your lovely pets out there, you need to wash your hands thoroughly before touching your face or before consuming any food. So you need to follow all these steps to avoid getting infected with the E. coli bacteria. Now, I have told you the way you can get infected by the bacteria. Now suppose like by any means, okay, even after trying to like so much or taking so much of precautions, also suppose you have got the infection or the bacteria has entered into your body by any means, which and you just cannot help it. What symptoms a person starts showing after the E. coli bacteria is ingested or consumed by a person? What happens is after 2 to 5 days, that is the incubation time or the incubation period for the bacteria to start showing the symptoms. After 2 to 5 days, the person will start start feeling symptoms which is of abdominal pain, be it diarrhea, sometimes diarrhea with blood, and also the person may feel quite fatigue, like without like performing any function or without working too hard, you just feel very tired. That might also be a symptom of this infection. You also may have nausea and also slight to no fever, okay. One thing is that when healthy people get infected with this, they tend to recover quite quickly and on their own without any medication or without any high-end medication. Like with mild medications, they might get fine. But in severe cases, when a person develops severe complication, that might also lead to hemolytic uremic syndrome, okay. And this syndrome, what it does is it affects this makes your kidney dysfunction, okay. And this does not happen to everyone and anyone. This is very rare case and it only mostly affects old people. So now I have explained everything related to the causes about the bacteria, the symptoms, and now when you have got infected by the bacteria, you also need to know how you're going to do the treatment for the infection, or how you're going to make yourself feel better, right? So in order to confirm that you have ingested this bacteria or you're suffering from an E. coli based infection, how a doctor is going to find out or confirm your case is that your doctor is going to ask you for your stool sample. which is then being sent to the lab for analysis, and then is confirmed that you are having your E. coli infection or not. Okay, so that is one way of knowing that, or to confirm or make your doctor like quite confirmed in your case that you are suffering from this kind of infection. So that is done. So the next thing is, fortunately, you know, if you are having this infection, most of the healthy people or most people get better on their own, and they do not need special kind of medications, as I also mentioned earlier. If a person is showing symptoms of blood containing diarrhea, that is blood is going along with your diarrhea, that means that the person is suffering from STEC, that is Shiga toxin producing E. coli infection. So in that case, what you do not want to do at all is, you do not want to take any antibiotics. Your doctor is not at all going to prescribe you any kind of antibiotics. And why is it so? Why is your doctor is not going to give you antibiotics to get you better, right? That is because Shiga toxin producing bacteria and those antibiotics do not agree with each other. If you have antibiotics, okay, while having STEC, what it's going to do is, it's going to make your condition worse, and the Shiga toxin production is going to increase if you have an antibiotic, okay, because the reaction with the toxin and those antibiotics is going to produce more toxins in your body, and thus making your condition more worse. So you have to remember, you have to not take any antibiotics for this condition. What you want to do is, you want to have lots and lots of fluid, because you have to compensate for whatever fluid loss you are having from in your body, that is by vomiting or by diarrhea. So you just have to have a lot of fluid, and that is only going to help you and make you feel better, not any antibiotics. So do not take any counter medications to stop your or to control your diarrhea. That is only going to affect your digestive system, and it's not going to help you. In fact, and it will not help you get rid of the infection, because if you are having diarrhea, along with that, even your bacteria flushes out. So you do not want to stop the diarrhea and take medications to control it. You should allow it to, like, whatever is there, it will go off and the infection will go off with it. You do not need to control it, and if you do it, then you will not be able to get rid of the infection. And after you start feeling quite better, what you want to do is, you want to intake low fibrous food, okay? Low fibrous food such as rice, such as eggs, etc., and many other low fibrous food with low fiber, okay? And why not high fiber? Why we do not need to intake food which contains high levels of fiber? Because it is going to make your case worse. You're going to have more diarrhea, it will make you more sick. So when you feel quite better, you just need to intake low fibrous food, okay? So now I have told you the treatment, how the doctor diagnoses your condition, or what should you do and what you should not be doing. So the next thing is, we are going to talk about prevention. How can we prevent this infection, or how can we prevent ourselves from getting infected from this bacteria? That is by being very conscious, by being very careful of your actions. That is washing your hands. Be it in any condition, be it in coronavirus, be it in normal life, be it in anything, you should always be washing your hand quite often. Wash your hand before cooking food, wash your hand before touching or washing any bottles for infants, or before feeding infants, before putting your hands in your mouth while eating. You need to wash hands. Wash hands after coming from the washroom. it's important. You have to be also after handling meat. As I said, meats also contain large amounts of bacteria in it, so you should be following all these steps and then thus preventing yourself from this infection. So yeah, if you be clean, if you be hygienic, if you be take all the precautions, be very careful or be very conscious with your actions, I am quite sure you will prevent all such kind of infections. So yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you all will be back with more such videos in the coming days, so please stay tuned. And if you like the video, please do not forget to leave a thumbs up, comment down below if you're having any doubts in your mind, or if you want to give me any video ideas, please feel free to comment down below. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please click on the subscribe button present on the right of your screen. It will mean the world to me. So see you guys and take